oh, could you help me put in a good word for me in the other office, so that by the time you go there, your academic documents are not even looked at first. The first question is, who sent you? Where are you from? Which family are you from? And you're like, that's nonsense, because the country is being dragged back, and we're having issues like that of the Uganda Airlines, where people are getting jobs and they're not even qualified. And it's astonishing. Everything is rotten. All the systems have been rotten by the institutions and the government. But I just hope that when we do get the change, we don't turn against each other, because that will cost all of us. And right now, I just looked up. If you notice, the lady justice is blindfolded. She's blindfolded because it's impartial. And right now, the rule of law has been, I don't think we have rule of law in Uganda, and I don't think we've had rule of law, because if you look at people like Mwanga Chivumbi right now, that is arraigned in court, people were murdered in his house, and he's being charged against terrorism, and he's not even made a statement. They're not following any procedures. These guys are not following any laws. It's like they're not rules for them in the game they're playing, and we're still. It seems like it's us who have the rules, and we're playing by the rules, but they're not. So I really hope that we can get to a point where our country is governed by the rule of law. And I commend all lawyers and all the civil society that are coming out amidst all the hardships that are going on, because there's so many people that have been arrested and in different parts of the country and being spread out. I saw a photo of a court in Abim, and it broke my heart. It broke my heart because I'm like, what kind of government do we have that can't even set up a reasonable structure for a court? It was really, really sad, because I thought if institutions like schools and hospitals have been neglected, I thought they would at least set up institutions like courts that they're using to weaponize against the people. But even the courts have been neglected, and we're having a chief justice that is vetted and sworn in within a week, and no procedures are being followed. It's just sad. But and I know we get on these spaces, and there's so many things that are going on in Uganda. We can't even list them. Even if we had days and days of spaces, we can't talk about everything. But what I want to say is there are also some positives, and the positives are that even us being on this space right now, knowing what it implies right now to oppose the government, knowing how many people have been arrested, how many have been missing, how many have died just because they've spoken out on what is happening. I want to thank all of you for standing up for the truth, because at first I was like, is it only me who sees these things? Is it only me who feels this pain? But I'm so glad to have this community where we have people like Dr. Stella Nyanzi, Mwangadi, Consuelo, to thank you so much for all the hard work you're putting in. It doesn't go unnoticed. And I just want to say that for us, the Ugandans that are in the country, those that are outside the country, if you know that you are Ugandan and you love your country, there is change that is coming. It is coming, and we all know it. That's why right now the government is in fear, and all these things that they're doing, all the violence they're doing, it's their last card. They don't have any more cards to play. It's just violence. They don't have any more cards to play. So it shows that Museveni's time has come to an end. So what I call upon all of us is to skill up ourselves, because Uganda is going to be free at a certain point, but we need to move the country forward after that. So we need to skill up ourselves. There's so many institutions that have been crippled by the government for years and years, and it's going to be upon us to build back our country, because right now we are in negatives and negatives. They are draining from the country, and they're still draining from it till the day they leave. And all these things, all the debts we have, all the institutions that have been crippled, it's going to be upon us and if I'm not alive, then it will be upon those Ugandans then who will love the country to be able to bring it back to its greatness. Because, you know, someone even comes and says, "I built you a road, you should give me a vote." It's just crazy. It's really heartbreaking. So we need to skill up ourselves because the country will need to move forward after all this. We acknowledge the fact that these guys have crippled the system, they've crippled all the institutions, but that is going to come to an end. It will come to an end, and whoever will be left, if you are on this space and you'll be there, it will be your own responsibility, and it will be your own personal responsibility to contribute to rebuilding the country, because we have so much potential as a country, as Uganda. And just back to the point that I mentioned of genocide, if you notice, I was thinking recently, I was talking to a few friends. I have a friend from Iran, and she was telling me how their their country is right now, if you know what's happening in Iran. And I was like, I think so many similarities with how their government is and how Museveni's regime has been. And right now the people are tired. People have died, people are still being executed, but the people are still fighting. But she's really strong. Though what I'm trying to say is, if you look at Uganda and the region in which we are, the Democratic Republic of Congo, South Sudan, Somalia, Eritrea, Tanzania, the countries have been, Rwanda as well, because we always tend to forget Rwanda because at times we don't really have as many Rwandan people speaking out. And I'm so glad we have our comrade Louise who came out on the space and sent that message, because we need to unite. Because if you look at the other countries that have gone down the drain, in the DRC, South Sudan, Somalia, Ethiopia, Eritrea, they've all gone down the drain because of their governments. And we really don't want Uganda to go down that road. And I understand that there are people out there who are like, we won't fight because we don't want to end up like DRC, like Sudan, like Somalia. But the thing is, what are we going to do? Are we going to sit back and listen and just wait for Mohozi to take power, and we just sit back and let the country go down the drain because just because we have that virtual peace that they're saying does not mean we have peace. And there's never been peace. I don't think there's been peace, at least from my perspective. And I won't let anyone convince me otherwise, because there's no peace until we're all free, until the last person in the village, deep down in the village, in the country, is able to access the basic needs and is able to exercise his own constitutional rights. And we actually don't even know our rights. And that is really, really heartbreaking, because if you look at these countries, I think traveling has given me exposure, and I'm so glad for this exposure, because you get to a point and people actually know their rights. But in Uganda, you could walk on the street and ask someone, do you know that this is your constitutional right? And they're like, no, I didn't know. And it's up to the lawyers and the civil society to educate the people about their rights. So I think we also need to do a better job to upskill ourselves and learn about our own rights and about the constitution, and the country will need us. Because as per now, yes, we are in a very dark time, but I'm seeing that this time is going to come to pass. But I know it will come at a cost. It will definitely come at a cost, and as much as we avoid that conversation, it will come at a cost. But after that, we need to make sure that we don't repeat the same mistakes that were done, because we had a revolution in 1986. Museveni took power and everyone was happy. That's why you see there are people in the older generations that are like, oh, he brought us peace. But what they didn't plan is they were not looking forward to how best they can actually move the country forward. And after the constitution was changed in 1998, that's when the country went down the drain. So we need to learn from those mistakes and make sure we don't repeat the same mistakes our fathers and mothers and grandfathers have done. So I commend all of you, and I want to thank all of you for loving your country and for not accepting to be silenced, because they're just trying to
Omwanga
silence us,
Kivumbi.
silence the media, silence anyone, suppress the people that speak out. And if they're getting to a point that they're stopping people from mourning publicly after killing their own family members, there is no coming back from that. That's why I'm saying the government is playing its last cards. They don't have any more cards to play because they can't convince people otherwise. And it's really annoying. I've seen Balaam, he was in, I think, Pastor Kayanja's church, and he was telling people, "Oh, we apologize on behalf of the army, and they you should pray for our soldiers." That's total nonsense, because those soldiers are following orders given to them by their leaders. Muhozi is giving orders, and then Balaam is going to church. And that's why we need to boycott all these churches and all these musicians that are working with the government. And I'm a big supporter of the National Unity Platform, and I remember the president was saying obululu tebutwawula naye nze obululu bunjawudde n'abantu, because talking to certain people, friends and family, and they're like, oh, simanya Museveni atuwadde mirembe ki? There's no peace at all. So the moment I talk to anyone and they're telling me anything about Museveni, I just block, because I don't even have that energy. Right now, the energy I'm focusing on is to see how to move the country forward after all this, because I don't know when the change is going to come, but I know it's coming. And it may not, even if it's not even our generation, it's still going to come, because even the greatest empires did fall. So he's human. He has Muhozi as well is human, and none of us is God. And their time will come to end. And Uganda was there before them; it will be there after them. So the country is going to move forward. And I'm just reminding you, because in certain situations like this, we tend to focus on what is happening right now, and we lose track of the fact that, okay, this is happening right now, but there's going to be a time where this will be a dent in our history, and we need to learn from our mistakes and not repeat. That's why we need to learn about our history as well, because I know there's so many Ugandans who don't even know the history of how Museveni came in power, and don't even know the history of the country, don't even know when the country got independence, like basic things. So we need to learn the history, and this will be a dent in our history, and we know that we won't repeat the same mistakes. So yeah, thank you very much for hosting this space, good girl. It's really, really powerful to have this space with like-minded people. And in case we have, I know there are definitely people on this space that support the government. In case you have anything to say, please don't even waste our time. Don't say anything, because there's nothing you're telling us. You're not convincing us in any way. Don't waste our time. You better just not even ask for the mic. Thank you.
You're so welcome, George. Thank you so much for the detailed submission. Thank you for joining us tonight, and of course, we really relate to so much of what you're saying. And of course, Katsitaba China Chiwatugamba, honestly. Like you said, I really don't have now the energy to argue or what. Even Nonti, I'll just block them because I don't think there's so much we can do. Analokoka alokoka atalokoka tagenda kulokoka, because I mean, if there is really heaven and hell, some people should go to hell. There are those that will never hear even the gospel of the Lord. So I really don't have also the energy to really continue telling people, because I mean, like, okay, I would, if I went to Mbala, I would have the patience to sit down and maybe explain. Maybe I think they have not been exposed enough. Maybe there are no TVs because, Uganda, most people don't even have electricity. Maybe I would have the grace to explain to all these people. But you find someone land, a lawyer or some profession, and maybe it's around Kampala, we expect them to use their heads, their brains, the resources that are available. Maybe not very much. Maybe they have not traveled. It is okay, but at least they should be able to see things and understand the injustices, the impunity that goes on every day. And then someone comfortably, speaks like everything is okay. That one, I don't really have the patience for such a person. Um, well, we've been here for about 2 hours now. I really want to thank those that have been here with me from the beginning. Thank you so much, and welcome those that have just joined us. We still have two more speakers. Yeah, and so we will have Onyango, and then we'll have Engineer Movidu. Yes, in that order. Onyango, are you there?
Uganda. Yes, good evening, everyone. Good girl, good evening. Thanks for hosting the space. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
We have had Kinyarwanda, we have had a lot of English. Mpulira njagala kwogera ku Luganda, nzikiriziddwa.
Naye kati Abanyarwanda banaategeera batya kale, just can you kindly mix kikole nga
Nange
kasavu
nawulidde
kanyama.
Olunyarwanda. I heard the Lunyarwanda. It sounded like the other song that we listened to a lot, but I was sure the message was there, so I kind of enjoyed listening just like that. However, I will mix. I will mix. I'm very happy to have everyone here. Simanyi, eneberanga consolation. It is more consolation for me. Not, I'm not happy about why we meet here, but the fact that we are able to meet uh, convinces me nti tukyalinamu abantu abalina conscious. Our conscious is still alive. Our national spirit is still alive, and it's not like these things are happening in total darkness and we are not seeing them. Whenever something monstrous is done, they don't but nsomye ku mawulire ga rule of law champion nempulira ennaku Mabirizi has a lot of his quirks as a human being. We all might disagree with him. Just recently twali on very heavy loggerheads about the leadership of Uganda Law Society, but after our battles we fight them, but we fight them in a formal way and under the guidance of the law. After the meeting, everyone concedes and everyone moves on, and then we go back to fighting for the common good and the common man at the end of the day. However, nze sijja kulamentinga kyensobola okugamba buli muntu ali ku space kuno nti we should brace ourselves anytime anywhere. Buli muntu asobola okukwatibwa. State weetuuse, I've just made a post mabegaawo nti eggwanga we lituuse, it is no longer the three arms of government, it is the one big arm of the government presided over by the dictator, omukulu Ssaabalwanyi. Tulina omukono gumu, tewakyali bya judiciary yakoze bweti, manya executive yakoze bweti, manya parliament yakoze bweti. Nedda. Eno system ya maama taata nange. Omukulu afuga mu bbanga eri batabani be abalamuzi ba chief justice yabadde alayirira amaka ga kitaawe enkola yabadde yakwanjula. It was a kwanjula format. You may think it was an introduction ceremony. Ngalayiria Makagani ga mukulu Museveni, a private residence. Amale naye atamulayize oluvannyuma lw'emyezi ena okuva kati naye amuyimiriza amukwase ssemateeka amukoleki amulayize ate bwe tunaamala okuvaawo tuloope ewanzeija awulize emisango egy'oli gwagenda okulayiza era eyamulayiza bwe yatubbya akalulu era tusuubire obwenkanya kale mu ngeri emu oba endala nze ndowooza nti bw'oba ng'obumaze okkizuula nti oli mu kugwa todda mu kubala fulo mmeka eziri waggulu olina kutunuulira z'osigazaayo nakuteekateeka butya bw'olandinga ku ttaka olwedde tuli mu bbanga tugwa free fall. This is a free fall. We have a lot of poets in our midst. The legendary Dr. Stella Nyanzi, but there is a poem from a series called Bojack called The View from Halfway Down. And as I continue to reflect on the state of the nation, that poem, it is a poem about suicide, but it kind of reflects what is happening in our country. The people that supported Museveni during his coming and in his early years, Museveni teyakozesa force okutwala okwewa emyaka 10 egyasooka n'okweyongera 5 egyasooka mu kisanja after the 1995 constitution teyakozesa maanyi. Ba elites abaaliwo ebiseera ebyo baamanya Mushega, Familia Matembe, Beria Kategaya bagamba katumuleke tamulimiti zijja kumugjawo. Oba okitegeera. However, he is corny and in a way nti bo bwe baali babuuka okulowooza nti katubuuke tuve ku kizinga from the safety of the of pure defense and holding people accountable into the free fall of what we are now. They did not think about the view from halfway down. Now we are halfway down. Tuli ku floor ya kusatu ekizimbe kye tuliko kibadde kya floor 11 tuli ku floor ya kusatu natero tutuuka ku ttaka lo tujjukira nti naye ikangezeeko okwekwata twekwata ku bisubi naye ebisubi bye twekwatako bebanze ijja yamaze okulayirira maka ga Museveni Taigo yanywedde house girl wa Museveni twe tusasula yamukoze n'amaana ne yeebaza maama Janet ne yeebaza mutabani waabwe Jeno Muhoozi olw'okukuuma eddembe nanga amaze okulayira olwo ne bamuka serving akamere kacyayi ne keeki ne be baagikoze order n'agisala n'agirya netusigala nga tulowooza nti tugenda mu kooti ye tufune obwenkanya tusigala nga tulowooza nti kugenda gyali tumutunuulire nga ssaabalamuzi mu ggwanga lino kweri bwe tuba nga si ffe tuliko ekikyamu then Museveni yatuloga mu ngeri emu oba endala. I want us to brace ourselves. Speaker Wafavuddeko, our speaker that has just come off, has talked about the rebuke from family members when you talk. It is not just a rebuke, but it is concern. I was on a call with Mabirizi. I don't think not more than not more than a week ago. Ali mukadukulu bamusinze ku remand. The rule of law champion has been held illegally by the law and he's now in custody. Nabadde ku call ne Akiso, and we were discussing very different things, very casual things, and even plans for a meet up with drinks, most probably for a party. So as you know, Akiso, Maeba remanding. How do you know? Mugwanga ya fetuanga lya mulinya lya free fall. Buli omu alina kubeera mwetegefu. Otambula ogaludde. I have just nagwe mbadde ngamba I added a whistle to my key holder. Ebisumizo byange biggula ennyumba yange. Nabitaddeko whistle. Batugamba whistle eno bw'ogifu. At least bw'oba wakuwamba ogifuuwa n'obawogganira abantu ne bamanya nti waliwo ekituusewo ekitali kya bulijjo n'ezibasawa 6. Because we are now moving ready. Sawa yonna osobola okuwulira nti banaye mujja hostinga space good girl ne Suna. Mubayinza hostinga space nti banaye free Onyango nga bamutute. Kubanga Uganda gye tuli mu saawa zino tewakyali ali safe. The word safe is mythical for us. There is no way of being safe and there is no form of safety in this country. See economically, tewali ali economically safe. Tubawulira wano juzi twalaba Cedric Babu, maama ate gwe alina ka iPhone ate alina na maaso 3. So economic safety teriwo, health safety teriwo kubanga yamala n'afa wadde sente baamala ne baziweza muwozi n'agamba mpaddeyo miliyoni 10 z'ataakoleredde yaziwaayo mu bwangu nnyo banne ne basonda naye n'agenda. Kitaawe ne nnyina ne banyiiga nnyo ne bagamba gavumenti etukole etya gavumenti etukole etya so tukole etya abatalina gavumenti yakunenya kubanga ne irikosi yaffe si ffe twagisaako oba okiwulira. Then tewali freedom of speech. Male mabirizi omusajja alina omumwa ogutanyigibwa ayogera bw'omusiba omumwa omusajja oyo ntagala mujjukire nti ku term limit was it age limit? I think it was actually age limit. Yavuga yakwata pick up y'obujulizi pick up ya evidence a pick up akayongeza kalamba aka evidence n'akavuga n'akatwala ku high court. Lwaki kubanga aba high court bamugamba nti takkirizibwa kwogera since is not an enrolled advocate to the bar. N'akola n'atayipinga empapula ezijuza pick up enamba n'azivuga. They have muzzled him. They muzzled him 18 months. They have muzzled him again. Olugwe ayogera obwogezi mu tomanyi na mateeka sobola nagasayitinga. So nga bwe tutambula, you cannot be safe in Uganda but try as much because we cannot put the whole infantry into the prison cell. Tukyetaaga abantu okubeera wabweru wano okulwanyisa gavumenti ya Mwami Museveni n'obulyake bwabwe n'obukenuzi bwabwe n'obutujju bwabwe bagezako otutuusaako mu lujjudde mu physical form okustrategizinga kubanga ddembe lyaffe. Terrorism, but there is no more terrorism than what they are performing. There is no more terrorism than omuntu okuyingira mu maka g'omusajja n'akwata mukazi we n'atandika okumwambula n'okumuvunaana lwaki alina omusajja gw'ali naye. In a country where every adult 18 years and above is free to go and have sex with whoever they want. They even tried to outlaw homosexuality and they failed. So buli omu alina eddembe ogenda yeebaka ne buli gw'ayagala ne wabeera musajja. Mukwata mutye omuntu ne mugenda mu maka g'omuntu ne mutandika omubuuza lwaki yeebaka n'omuntu gwe yeebaka naye. In a tribalistic sense. So in a country where the commander of the defense forces, and mind you, the commander of the defense forces was physically present at the home of Bobby Wine. To question the wife on why she decided to date a Muganda man. In a country where that can happen, they even post about it online and there is no remorse. Please, tambula ng'omanyi. Tambula ng'omanyi. Mukwate ba next of kin bamwe mbawe lawyer information zammwe mugabane namba z'abantu abamu oli awo nga gwewekka mu famire yo gw'oli ku Twitter abantu tebajja kumanya wawe akuddukira nga bakubuzizaawo. Funayo kanzije nange. Funayo famire member omu oba maama wo connecting, reach out to David, reach out to maybe Dr. James, reach out to Good Girl, reach out to Mukasa Oshagi, find someone you can trust, communicate with them in the box, but when numbers are where they give you their numbers, give them to someone and say, in case reach out to this person, they will know how to proceed. Kubanga tulina abantu bangi betutagenda kuddamu kulabako. Family ziri eyo bagamba munaye alabika yafuluma eggwanga n'atatugamba kumbe musajja atwali mu nkomye bamunyiga. We saw videos of a man who was tied up nga bamutonyeza ekidomola. They were dripping, they were melting plastic and dripping it on him while he's tied up and they are caning him. None of us was able to identify who that man was. Do you think the family knows? Mulowooza baamutta tetumumanyi. Good Girl wamutegeera?
Nedda ssebo nsonyiwa mbadde just sikwagala ku interruptinga. Of course tewali amumanyi up to now.
Kolaki video twaziraba. I'm sorry machines ziwogana kubanga ndi mu workshop but I try to move away from the noise as much as possible. Tetwamumanya. So kati mulowooza family ye bwewanga family tekozesa Twitter tekozesa Facebook tekozesa TikTok ani amanyi gy'aliyo. Who runs after and tries to follow up on such a soul, such a human, such a Ugandan? They treated him so inhumanly. Okumakando by mistake kando wax nakutonyako n'owulira n'okolima n'oyita ne bajjajja baabwe be baaziika edda abamu b'otamanyi mannya abamu mulowooza muli balokole nnyo you are so born again naye okwata kaliro katono nnyo n'omaliza ng'osinzizza n'emizimu gy'otajjukira bajjajjange abeebase Masaka bannaaye ayi kande enjokyeza but that man was bamugrippingako ebidomola. But no one knows. Naffe bagamba nti tugezaako nnyo okunoonyereza ku political prisoners n'ababuziddwawo tetumumanyi naye video tuziraba zaatukwasa ennaku naye tetumumanyi. So please reach out to someone who is in the activist arena, someone that can get out information. I know this is all, the fight is all in vain because the rule of law is not functional. The judiciary is another arm of the executive, and it is an extension of the executive, in fact, an implementing arm of the executive. However, it is important to and we are promising to do our best. We are going to do our best, but we first need to know when you're taken and who takes you if that information is available. So please, for your own safety, even if it's a myth in our country, get your contact information, get someone else's contact information, share it. Because the country is no longer safe. In the Nakuzumbala border, I count borders on the road. I stand on the roadside and I'm like money more. Very unpredictable because the Tushaman Chichisovoka, if they can do anything, borders are full of spies. Recently, Mwalabu Musaja, a whole major of the army, Yakuyawa ghetto youth, Abasubiza Avantunti. If your shop has a Uganda flag on, they are going to loot it at night. A major in the UPDF. He's leading the youth to say, if you have a Uganda flag, or you have any new posters on your we had our court martial behaving more brutal than Guantanamo, which is historically thought to be the Guantanamo trials were the worst. My dear, our court martial sent young men of Karamoja to prison. Nebakomawonga balinga skeleton. In fact, singa balinga nebakomawonga skeletons. Someone, you send an already starving human being into prison, and they come back with visible signs of starvation. So that is the regime we are dealing with. Kati awo nze nkibagamba kati mugezeeko okwekuuma. Tetusobola kubeera safe mu ggwanga lino naye gezaako noonyayo omuntu gwe weesiga, share contact information. I remember on 15th, after I got information of what had happened at Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi's home, the rate at which I tried to look for some colleague, I have seen him here on Space. I tried to look for the man. Nemugamba Uriwe Butambala. I know you were not involved or anywhere near this, but Gogwe Manye Butambala, are you safe? I could not get him, but I got someone who told me, he is safe. So please. And that is the kind of concern that we are supposed to share around each other. You see the regime, they don't mulabye Andrew Mwenda Ngagamba, Kebajewo Bamutulati Batekewo Gund. You know how they are standing in. You saw all the congratulations and the ululations after the I won't even call it appointment. The anointing of Kasuja as the leader of UBC, the head of UBC. Let us also be that way in contact for each other. Let us also hold guard for each other like that. Let us also look out for each other like that. kubanga bano abasajja batemu n'okusinga bw'olowooza nti olabye omuntu asinga obutemu batemu. Omusajja yatonyeza munne ekidomola. I have photos in my phone. I have photos on my computer that I've looked at and they still make me gag. Buli lunaku lwe mbitunulira mpulira nga neesisiwala. And oftentimes nziteekako omuntu n'apostinga ebintu nga wana regime ne mujjukiza bino. I remember the spokesperson wa police Makituma was talking about some sort of freedom, and I put and he said we shall research about this. I said you cannot research because even you fear this person. This is inhumane. He said it is inhumane. We are going to research. I said that you are not going to research because this happened 3 years ago. You would have researched if you wanted to. It is inhumane. Nabo bibesi was an esi bantu. Emmere basingire ekintu ekirala kyonna kyonna. So, comrades, as I am about to yield the mic, look out for someone, a colleague, share your contact information with them, or get their contact information, or at least funayo omuntu mu family gw'oyigiriza Twitter eno na butya bw'asobola okubikinga out kubanga basobola okubuzaawo essaawa yonna. Kati ne nkubuuza nti Kayizi Muhammad ow'emyaka 14 14 has been in prison. Dr. Kizabestia is now running running down 445 days in prison. Sam Mugumya has never appeared. We don't know where he is. I was on the search party and we are almost giving up, but we cannot. What option do we have? Can we really give up? Sam Mugumya was disappeared. We went to court, filed habeas corpus after habeas corpus. We searched him we searched prisons. He has never appeared. We don't know whether he is dead or alive. The mother got pressure, had high blood pressure. It even lowered after because now she almost she's about to organize the burial ceremony for the son because she doesn't know where he is. Machete, 5 years. It is now 6 years. He's going into a second term of presidency away. Olivia Lutaya came through 4.5 years. She has gone back. She's now running down 4 months. Tugambe tutyaona Muwanga Kivumbi is in there. He lost the election. He was cheated. People were killed in his home. The mother almost died. He is in prison as well. With 23, 24 other younger people whom we don't know where they got them. They have added them to a terrorist file that they don't know about. Muwanga Kivumbi has not met those young people. They have never met him. Now they are in prison with him on the same file for terrorism. We need to be safe. We need to try as much as possible to look out for each other. Twekume. Buli omu akume muno. Be your brother's keeper. Be your comrade's keeper. Guni Butabale Ronald has just been out of recently Overwatch campaigning as a duly nominated candidate of LC3. A lot of our comrades are in prison over very stupid charges. Over Eddie Mutwe is there. Achirewo Kivumbi is there. We can list all these names. We do not want to add more to them. I'm not saying be silent. It is your right to speak. But be vigilant. Like an army officer in the football league, Batugambanga, you stand on toes because it is easier to start running if you are on your toes than if you were flat-footed. Don't be flat-footed. Be on your toes. Put that VPN. Switch off that location. If you feel your safety is in a faceless account, have the faceless account. Don't incite violence, but remind Ugandans their right. Remind Ugandans their right because it is also your right to do civic education. You know, legally, as a civically aware person, it is your duty and also your right to make others civically aware around you. That is how civic education expands around the country. That is true patriotism that they keep preaching. It is your right. So do it, but do it safe, as safe as possible in this shithole of a country. Njagala okubajjukiza obuteerabira bannaffe abakwatiddwa. Bw'obaako ne woowulira omuntu eyakwatiddwa, good girl, I am trying to procure names. Waliwo abaana recently ewaffe close to where I stay bayitawo mu Kikulu, waliwo omukyala eyabadde yeesimbyewo ku bwa LC3 naye nga bbaawe mujaasi, n'omukyala yali mujaasi. So omukyala we bamukuba akalulu, omukyala eyamukuba akalulu wa NUP n'akola celebratory party y'okuwangula akalulu, some sort of danke. On the danke night omukyala oli owa NRM yaleese drone ekiro n'esolooza abaana 14. I just went in there but people refused to talk to me. Naye nnamu omuvubuka omu mu scafe eyo gwe baakuba, but bangambye yabadde agenze treatment. I am waiting to try and go and get those names. I hope I hopefully by tomorrow I'll be able to share the list of over 14 young people who were taken because they were celebrating the victory of the candidate they supported at the local level. They want to join an election. They don't want to accept defeat, and they keep abusing power, because in order for you to stand for political office, you have to have resigned from the army, but you're using the army and the resources of the government to oppress your opponents. But I guess we all know not siwaje bazijja. Njagala okubajjukiza nga maliriza. The judiciary is not the judiciary, it's just the second arm of the government. Ne parliament nayo mugizeeko gwe mukono ogwokusatu ogwa executive. Katulina omukono gumu ogwa government ye executive, naye omukono ogwo gulina emikono gyagwo esatu. Gino judiciary gye gukozesa, executive gyekozesa okukwata okuyoola emmere oba okiwulira. Parliament nebawa obufooko bwe bakwatisa okutulya ne batumalawo. Omukulu akola byayagala, sente ne yeegabira n'ateeka mu security n'ateeka wali. So I want us to look out very carefully. Action naye times zino ntonotono eziddako. I have a belief that these coming times are the reasons why the court martial was brought back. Very soon you will see transferring of files to the court martial, transferring bali muzikuŋŋaanya bamale batandike ozitransferring nga tujja kubiwulira. Let us be very, very, very vigilant. Safety, your safety is important. Get that whistle. Get that whistle. If you can get a camera, get it at your door. Not picking up a footage tujja kumanya nti weeri. Teekawo camera eri secret ogamba abantu obeeko ne gw'ogamba nti nnaka camera ewange in case of anything mukeberanga footage oyo. The other thing is find ways of connecting your phone to an account like a Samsung account whereby singa baba bakitutte omuntu asobola ogiclearinga. Otherwise, when they take your phone, they are able to access all your information and they find ways of intimidating you. Kubanga musimye temulimu kintu kiri questionable, naye bajja kutunula bagambe ayina girlfriend, ayina ne mukwano gwe bwati, ayina ne family member bwati. Tutandikire ku abo we tubakwata tujja kumunyigiriza. So for all safety purposes, please go and read on cyber security. It is important, it is important to restart your phone every morning. Before you use it, restart it. Kitandike bupya. Because abakola IT wano mukimanyi, but it is one of the rudimentary ways to stop hacking. Omuntu aba spending the night ng'agezaako ku hacking within your phone. If you restart it, sometimes you reset them back to zero. Tutandikirawo mu kurestarting amasimu gaffe okukuma location nga teriiko, VPN kiteekeko ebeereko. Just be careful, but don't stop speaking. Fight, but this is guerrilla. It is guerrilla in a way. You cannot directly confront because the ground is tilted against us. But what option do we have but fight? You fight, you die. But you have chances of not dying and winning. You don't fight, you die. You die a loser from the start. You know? I want to remind you that out of the 50, it was 58, good girl, correct me, but I think it was 58 people who were died in the November massacre. Was it 50? It was 58 people that were killed in the November massacre. Over 40 people died due to gunshot wounds gotten from inside the houses or on home activities. One of the women was hawking food in town, shot, dead. There was a young baby of 6 years. She can't even pronounce a full word, but she was shot over political issues. There was a young girl who was in bed. She got a bullet through the mouth. So many people, a young boy who was running around in the compound playing, she had tear gas and she was running to the house, bullet got him down. Over 42 people died and were not involved in any way into the political activities or protests that were ongoing. So even home is not safe. So I want to remind you that while you're out here trying to defend your rights, trying to remind the government of its duties and obligations to its 45 million of citizenry, it is the safest place you can be fighting. Man, the worst way to die is to die sleeping on your stomach or on your back. That is the worst way to die. Because then all you have done is died. At least for us, we are fighting and then we die. And what did we do? We fought and died. But all you have done is died. Naina, I had a very funny custom. I never let a year find me sleeping. So whenever New Year's comes, even if I didn't go in any activities or prayers or what, I will get out of my house, take a walk. When it gets to midnight, probably around 20 minutes past midnight, I'll go and sleep. Because I'm like, if I sleep and then the year comes in and I'm sleeping, I slept in 2026, 25, and I woke up in 2026. That is sleeping for 2 years. I think the same principle applies here. Let us be on the move. We are hoping for change and peaceful change at that. But while it comes, it should find us pursuing something meaningful rather than expedient. It should find us on the move to a better life, to a better country, and to better governance. It should find the echoes of our voices demanding for change, demanding for a better governance, demanding for fairness and justice, echoing around the room when change comes. It should find that we are part of the ashes that brought it into existence in this wretched country of ours. I want to yield the mic finally. I want to wish all of you a good night. I am still here. I want to thank you all for your contribution towards a better country. It shall not be forgotten. You know, when you're eating the meal, a corn meal, let's say a meal made from corn, every time you eat it and feel it sweet, it is appreciation to the person that cleared the land on which the corn was grown. Let it be in your mind that your contribution cannot be forfeited. Your contribution cannot be undermined in growing of this beautiful thing called fairness and justice for this country, called a free and fair country and democracy in this country. Even if your contribution has been to consistently repost anything that is advocating for change, it cannot be undermined. Someone saw it and joined the struggle just because you reposted. Someone read it and then saw the name of their person who has disappeared just because you reposted. Someone saw it and joined our freedom service on Sunday just because you reposted. Someone saw it and boycotted NRM just because you reposted. Some regime apologists saw it and felt perturbed just because you reposted. Do the small thing while you aspire to do the big thing as well. and grow in the struggle. Become aggressive as you go on. Write lines as you go on. Speak out loud as you go on for a better country. For God and my country, I want to wish all of you a good night. Remember to be safe. Remember to share your contact information and remember to be very cautious. Borders, that person that sits around your home, you don't know where they come from, you don't know what they do. That person that sits around your workplace, you don't know what they do, you don't know where they come from. That person that randomly asks you about politics, you've never met them, be cautious. This government is capable of anything and everything. Thank you very much. I yield the mic.
Thank you so much, Onyango. It's always powerful speaking to us. We appreciate you. Thank you for always encouraging us, even when we feel tired and broken. Actually, yesterday I was in your area. I was following up on the juvenile cases. I was in Kanyanya court. Nalabiddeyo ennaku eyo ewamu Onyange, ewamu wali ennaku nno, ewaffe wali ennaku naye n'ewamu esite. Nalabiddeyo ennaku ey'ekitalo. I met mothers of the juveniles, was speaking to them, but ennaku bagiyita batya mu Luzungu Onyango bannange? Kuba kigambo sorrow tekitegeeza kimanyi mu Luganda nange. What I saw there is really ennaku eriya ddala. Nti bamaama batya n'okutya okugamba okunnyonnyola omubuuza omwana wa myaka emeka kikugamba munnange yakaweza 17. Like they're so scared. They're so scared. Some of them actually knew that the kids were in Rosita, but they have not gone there up to now. But yeah, they're saying, nze ntyayo sisobola kugendayo. You know, they are so scared.
Good girl. Ennaku esinga okubeera nakuga, I've already told you people ekimu ku bintu ebyanzija mu mateeka kyekyo kye nalaba. Nabeeranga ku like 90% of the people ababeera convicted mu wildlife court ku Buganda Road. Kubanga wildlife court etula ku Buganda Road. Babeera convicted kubanga tebalina ba lawyers. It is omulamuzi ebiseera ebisinga yalinga Ayo Mariam back in the day when I was at court presiding nga ku misango egyo, but she would start from mentioning to sentencing like 8 cases every Wednesday because court yatulanga ku Wednesday, but because oli yajjanga nga musoga naye n'atayogera nakwogera nti Oluganda talumanyi oba Oluzungu talumanyi, ne bagusoma omulamuzi n'amubuuza oba alutegeera n'akkiriza, ne bamusentensinga ne bamuwa emyaka ebiseera gyabanga emyezi 8 emyaka 2, ne bamusindika ne bamugamba you will come back for sentencing nga kwegambanga nekigwa oluusi omulamuzi n'asaba recess n'agenda n'awandiika judgment n'akomawo n'agisoma nga abantu bano n'okwogera obwogezi okumitigatinga okusaba ekibonerezo kikendeeze tebabimanyi. Abantu bangi betulina mu ggwanga muno in our country who think the law and the policeman, the lawyer, the judge just has to speak and your job is to say yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They do not know whatsoever what it means to even make their position or their points heard. Tebawakanya mulamuzi, tebawanika mukono. Ugandans tebamanyi nti omuntu akkirizibwa okwekiikirira you are allowed to represent yourself in court. Ugandans don't know that. Olwokuba talina lawyer tajja kwogera. Oh my God, I was at a wildlife court and I saw these people. N'olabye ddala ng'omusango guli fictitious naye nga tasobola kwogera, baamuteze ebigundu owa poliisi n'amugamba nti nti nina byenjagala okugula, n'amulagirira n'okumulagirira waalina obbijja n'abijjayo ne bamala ne bajja ne bamukwata in a false investigation. They convict the person over a crime that they were led into doing by the police itself. Ne kiyitira awo. There was one case where the fraud was later and after omusango gwajja ne baconvicting omusajja 2.5 years ne bamusindika eruzira okuservinga sentence eyo 2.5 years, and mind you these are the lowest people. Lwaki good girl omuntu wakusentensinga to 2.5 years or a fine of 1 million naye nga tolina busobozi buraisinga million n'ogenda oservinga 2.5 years. Those are the lowest of our people. Oluvannyuma ennyo ne kizuulibwa nti omusirikale wa Uganda Wildlife Authority yali ayongola skiini ezo naye ng'alaba bw'anaazitambuza basobola omukwata n'afuna omuntu ne n'azimuseetinga ne bamukwata nazo ne zijjira mu exhibit. Kati omusango bwe gumala okuggwa ebintu ebyo exhibit baziwa Uganda Wildlife Authority processing disposing of ne zimutubako mu office naye nga waliwo omuntu agenze zisavingira emyaka 2 kitundu. And you imagine that level of greed that makes you send someone to prison for 2.5 years because you want pangolin skins. They were worth around 32 million. But you sent someone to prison for 2.5 years. And this person did not have the mouth to say, they set me up. Eventually, someone within the authority is the one that unearthed the entire conspiracy. The Mulamuzi had to undo the whole thing. So abantu banaebwotuka mu bantu bawansi abantu bebwayise oli bamutwala ku police bamusange wakomanyi toilet ebwayise ennyumba zaayo toilet you can renting on one side of the road and yet you have to cross the road to go for short call. Someone wakes up at night, they are in their very small boxer shorts, they are crossing over to the bathroom. On their way back, police nemukwata idol nemutwala ku police nebamujjamu ssente. Namusanga Lumwa was in a prison cell here, a police cell over some of my own political mischief. And I found a young man there in a vest and a short. And I asked him, why are you here? He said, "This is manju. Bankwata mbundi idol sawa musamu nano gwekiro ngali mu prison cell mu ka vest ne ka pijama akulaga nti ddala nti yabadde waka. And he didn't have the audacity to even explain to the police. He explained to me, and when I was called to handle my own case in the OC's office, I had to explain to the OC. I said, there's a person in that cell who is in for this and this. OC said, are you sure? I said, yes. He said, do you bring that young man? They brought the young man. He said, you. Are you sure it is like this? He said, yes. OC na amutana mugamba tambula ogende. Naye yamanyi kimu Ugandans know down there believe you cannot really argue with police. How dare you argue with a man who is putting on a uniform and a gun? Wanji.
Onyango. Kwekyo kyennyini kyoyogera just yesterday. Waliwo akato kange, my young brother. Zabadde saawa emu kitundu ez'olweggulo. Kafulumye ekkubo kuba mukadde wa muzeeyi yabadde afunyeemu gundi obugonvu ng'ate teri ali waka nga n'emmotoka teriiwo ne bamugamba genda ewa mulirwana ku dduuka waliwo ebyuma bino bye bazannyisa zzala genda ewa mulirwana ku dduuka like 4 minutes from the gate genda ogambe mulirwana ajje for emergency. Akaana ka myaka 10 baakakutte ne bakubira mukadde essimu. Ab'okukyalo be badduse ne bagamba haji mutabani wo bamukutte ayido nti abadde agenze kuzannya zzaala. So what you're saying exactly, and ne balemerawo omusajja ku ssimu ng'eno they are recording n'agamba mugende mulabe oli afande ng'alina mu kyambalo ky'amagye yakwata ssente otherwise omwana mujja musanga ku poliisi enkya ku makya 10 years old. Genda mu maaso Onyango.
Onyango sigenda muddiza muzindaalo kubanga obudde bugenze bannange we've been here since 7:30 nedda sseevu totandikiraawo ogenda kutuula ng'osirise because engineer Mubiru has been here for a while. I mean Mukisa has been here for a while naye nsaba tuwe submissions affe nga tuziwumbawumbako. Let's try to be as brief as possible because we'll be ending this space at the top of the hour because we already have 2 speakers that need to speak. We would be ending now, but we will go in for an extra 30 minutes so that we can have the remaining speakers have something to say. So yeah, I'm going to request that Mukisa please take as a few minutes, 3 minutes, to give us your submission so that we can have Isaac, and then we'll end the space with Stinger. Mukisa, can you hear me?
Good evening. I'm requesting that you help me not to speak as of now because I'm in a vehicle and I think I may not be gotten properly. Thank you.
Right. We can have Isaac take on your time, then Stinger, then you can come last, no problem.
Everyone, yes, good evening. I is Kakodol Isaac, come from Wuka district. So thanks to love a country like Uganda here. So, madam, so I'm so happy to love my country.
Okay, Isaac, thank you for being brief. Thank you for loving your country. It is your moral duty actually to do it. Continue loving your country. We appreciate you and we send our regards to the people of Luka. We keep pushing. Okay, Stinger, you have your minutes and then we can have James.
Okay, thank you very much. Olabye Mungu bwanjagadde obadde ompisizaawo. Before I forget, I greet upon you all members who are here. And I'm seeing here SK Sylvia. I curse you, Sylvia. In my submission, whenever I see you, I must curse you. I curse your womb. May your womb become rotten, and the children of your children become rotten in their wombs. May you die a miserable death. May your family be cursed, and from child to child. May God the Most High curse you. May God the Most High curse the people you love. May you never get peace on this earth, in your grave. May you never get a resting place. Even in your death, may you be cast. May you be cast in your grave. May you be cast on earth. May you be cast in your brain. May your children be cast. May your grandparents and your cousins be cast. The reason why I started by cursing this wicked SK Sylvia, these are the regime apologists who come to listen to us while they are sipping on wine, not knowing that they are sipping the blood of Ugandans. They are very happy when Ugandans are crying. She is a lady who said that Barbie was in comedy even after the dictator's son coming up and saying that they had attacked the house of His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. This is the woman you see down there called SK Sylvia, who said it was comedy and she was lying. That is the reason why I'm cursing you. I told you I will curse you and I will tell you the reason why I'm cursing you. She is one of the regime apologists in the USA, moving and giving poison to people, even poison of word. It may not even be only poison of putting in drinks or eats, but poisoning the word, the mindset of Ugandans in the diaspora. She is enjoying in USA while Ugandans are down there not having food, having bad life. She is enjoying the regime that is making Ugandans to be in misery. I think you're very happy, SK Sylvia, when the dead bodies of 30 people have been killed. You can smile, but may you always dream about these dead people. May they haunt you. May you have bad dreams. May you hear the cries of mothers that are being, their children are being incarcerated. May you dream about the face of Dr. Kano Kiza Besije when it is frail and when he is in prison and feeling bad. May you dream about Sam Mugabe. May you have the same agony like the mother of Sam Mugabe. May you have the same agony like a mother of those young people, the 14 years that are in prison. May you also face the same repercussions. I can tell you, you can be happy today, but your tomorrow may not be guaranteed. The Most High who is up there in the heaven, he will work upon you. He will crush you. even the Pharaoh was enjoying. The Pharaoh had a lot of gold. The Pharaoh did a lot of things, but he was cursed. Even his dead body up to now is still facing that curse. Your curse may not be like that of the Pharaoh, but God will work upon you because God is a living God, and God is always there for people who suffer. I rebuke you. I curse you. I curse your entire generation. That time will come and you say, people cursed me, and it happened. Oyo Momaze, I'm going now to my submission because, by the way, and I also curse every regime apologist who is here. May you get the problems to problems to problems. I go to my submission. Comrades, members who are here, I want us to understand that our nation, Uganda, it is incumbent to us to rise up and liberate our country. We know we have a lot of stoics who think within their stomachs, who don't think about the betterness of the country, like the SK Livias. But we are many who believe that our country could be changed for a better country. And I want to quote, these days I'm more into Malcolm X, into Malcolm X and Galbalidi. I want to tell you that here, we Ugandans who are here, we are here to make Uganda or we die. Once we understand that it is no longer the same as before. We have to understand that real transformation requires sacrifices and courage. In Uganda, we have to think about reforms. We have to re-echo the spirit of transforming our country and knowing that it requires sacrifice. We should either build a new Uganda or we accept continued suffering. A few people, for example, we are over 100 in this space, but there is only one person who is enjoying in this regime, for example, SK Silivia. And he thinks all of us, the 99, we are stupid. We can maneuver this if we stand up and say enough is enough. The second thing I want to tell you, brothers and sisters who are listening here, the only way to deal with reactionaries is to make liberal reforms. We have to make liberal reforms. We have to stand and say that we need to recover our country because these people are doing whatever they want to take over our country. They have already taken, but they want to uh, to cover it, to make sure that we are at extinct with the indigenous Ugandans. And we shouldn't allow this. We shouldn't allow this narrative. I want to tell you, Ugandans who are listening on this space, he who loves his country truly must learn to hate injustice. We must hate injustice and those people who accept and carry on and support injustice like the SK Livias. We should not be near them. We should rebuke them. I want to tell you, Ugandans, that real love for our country means speaking out against everything, the corruption, the brutality, and unfairness, and everyone doing whatever he has to do in order to liberate our country, Uganda. I want to tell you, comrades on this space, that we the people in the struggle, and this message goes also to SK Livia and his stories who are here. We offer neither pay, nor quotas, nor provisions. We offer hunger. We offer thirst. We offer forced marches, battle and death. Let him who loves his country in his heart